Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I think we need to talk because what could be coming next could be big for AMC stock. In fact, the last time we seen a major rally was right here during August of 2022 for AMC. We've had little rallies here and there. These would be like 80% rallies or 75% rallies here or there from the lows. I mean, a little bit more than that this time. Well, last time technically. I don't know why that's not coming up, right? I want to get you guys some accurate information. This was a 125% rally here. But back here in August of 2022, well, from May, you hit the low. From the high in August, you rallied about 182%. I think something similar could be coming because I think the same thing is coming. The same exact catalyst. And I want to talk about that here in this video. I also want to go over where we are currently with AMC stock, what the data looks like, what my kind of expectations are for this upcoming catalyst. So this is not just any small catalyst. This is a tried, tested, true catalyst we've already had before that I do think is coming. So consider sharing this video with a buddy, a friend, a pal, someone that you think also needs to hear this information. So let's start with the meat and bones of this video. What do I think the big catalyst is? Well, let's see. It's this. AMC stock, no more share dilution this year. This was on June 21st. Now, let's take a look at the chart. Okay, so June 21st was right here. AMC stock really didn't do much. It rallied about 1% the next day, sold off 4%, and then you started to make a movement higher. But from June 21st specifically, let's see, until the high in August, you rallied about 142%. Now, that announcement in 2022 came because we had experienced a lot of dilution. Now, you could also make the argument the market conditions were kind of right for that. It was a good time to say, hey, we're not going to dilute shareholders because we were starting the summertime rally in 2022. I could make the same argument today. Just think about it like this, and I think this is the easiest way to think about it. The most, I guess, the best way to think about it. We've seen a lot of dilution. Shareholders have gotten beaten up since then, right? And on, split adjusted prices, that would be AMC stock at $150 per share in stock price terms today. So the stock is down a lot. Now, Adam Aron and AMC, I don't think they have a choice. I think this is a catalyst or announcement that is coming that is not their choice. I think this is forced on them. Why? Because AMC stock is $6 per share. If you ever remotely want to have a chance of paying down all of your debt via issuing stock, you have to get the stock price up from here. That's the bottom line to it. Now, easier said than done, right? The only way I think that is happening right now, and I think Adam Aron, especially this last round of dilution, just realizes how sensitive AMC is right now to dilution. Well, the only way you basically do that right now is if you agree to, let's say, not dilute shareholders until the second half of 2024. That would spark, in my opinion, a pretty aggressive, similar looking rally that we've seen back here in June through August. You could also make the argument the market conditions are right for that. And if that were to happen now, it would catch a lot of shorts off guard. And it would boost a lot of, bullish enthusiasm for AMC. And then the bright side of that for AMC and for Adam Aron, the reason they would want to do this is because they could dilute shareholders at much higher prices. I think Adam Aron is is kind of kicking himself, because when they just diluted shareholders back here in November, it was probably the worst literal time you could have done that. AMC killed it on earnings. The writers-actors strike literally ended like 2 hours after the earnings call. But then the next morning, they say they're going to issue, 40 million shares. That is not exactly great timing. And then what did the markets do? The markets just rallied like nobody's business following that. Like literally right after that, the markets just took off. Now, as of recently, you have now had 4 green days in a row. And this is the first time you've had 4 green days in a row since, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had 5 back here in early October when AMC stock went from $7 to $11 per share. So normally when you get 4 or 5 green days in a row, it tends to lead into a large upside move. Like anytime in AMC's recent history, anytime you get 4 up days in a row, it tends to be a larger, more longer term rally. And that's where we are again. Now you're coming off of multi-year lows. Again, at the same time, markets have done very well. This is not a great position to be in if you are Adam Aaron, right? Because Adam Aaron was hoping, I'll tell you right now, he was hoping he could dilute shareholders and the market's just enthusiasm or bullishness would, cause AMC stock to kind of shrug it off. That did not happen. I don't think Adam Aaron would have predicted AMC stock in the $6 range back in October when he diluted shareholders at $11 per share. I don't think he would have predicted, IWM, S&P, small cap stocks. I mean, markets in general hit new all-time highs, and the S&P is above all-time highs by a pretty good margin here. S&P is about 2.5% higher than all-time highs or previous all-time highs we set back in early 2022. I don't think Adam Aaron would have predicted AMC stock would not participate in that at all, and in fact continue to fall. So I do think this is only my speculation, but I do think this announcement for no more dilution, probably for the first half of 2024, is coming right around the corner. Keep in mind, a lot of AMC's conversions and debt actually comes due in 2026. So if they want to remotely have a chance of paying that off, they have to get AMC stock up higher to be able to raise more capital to dilute shareholders. Now, a lot of their debt comes due 2027, 2028, and then a vast majority of it comes due after 2030. So there's no immediate kind of rush for this, but if you want to be able to pay down some of that debt, potentially even refinance at better terms, you should just, from a business perspective, give the stock room to rally here. Let the stock rally. If rates come down big time by the first half of 2024, you can refinance some of that debt. Maybe you don't have to raise as much cash to, stay in business, to not go bankrupt. If not, if you do nothing and we just trade kind of sideways here, up or down a couple dollars until, that point, you're not going to be able to dilute shareholders, or the stock's going to fall down to, $3 per share next time. I really just don't think they can possibly not do this, right? I think it's getting to that point. Now, with that being said, how do you profit off of this? Well, obviously, you can buy AMC stock right now if you would like. AMC stock is trading almost near all-time lows. So, buying the stock's probably the least risky thing to do. Everything's risky in the markets. Contact financial advisor if you're confused. But I do think some longer term options as well might make some sense, or maybe a combination of both, buying stock and buying options. Now, and like longer term options, I would want, some months on any options. Now, Adam Aaron's Twitter has also been very quiet recently. We'll see what ultimately happens there. We do have a new investor in AMC on the block, and that is Pulte. Now, Pulte has 10 times as many followers as Adam Aaron on X, and he is now invested in AMC. So that could kind of lead more, pressure to AMC. So we will see. He's literally calling on Adam Aaron to call him, and I'm sure one of the things that is discussed is, hey, you need to stop diluting shareholders for a period of time at least. So we'll see what ultimately happens here. Pulte does have 3.1 million followers on X, so pretty influential person in regards to this community with AMC, and hopefully has an influence on AMC to give us that kind of announcement. When that does happen, I expect AMC stock will rally big time. Now let's take a look at the option chain, what we have in store for us over the next couple of months. And here this week, this week's pretty much over. You do have some option activity. Next week, you have some option activity to the call side, especially about 44,000 calls out the money, about 27,000 total puts for next week. But the big one is going to be by January 19th. And that's probably when I expect to get this announcement. Probably, in January at some point. Now, for January 19th, you got about 3,100 calls currently in the money, 162,000 calls out the money, 43,000 puts in the money, and 77,000 puts out the money. So by the time we actually get to January 19th, there's going to be a lot of option activity really on both sides, but it looks like more so to the calls right now. And that could lead to a lot more volatility, especially if AMC is going through a rally at that point. Now, just a brief overview of the Ortex data. You do have 8.78% short interest of free float, $134.91 million currently sold short in AMC stock. Days to cover 1.07, 21.72 million shares that are currently sold short. Shares out on loan 20.75 million. Cost to borrow 1.14%, 29.9% utilization, 53.92 out of 100 for your short score. So also nothing that looks too crazy over here. Cost to borrow numbers, cost to borrow max 1.25%, cost to borrow average 1.04%, cost to borrow minimum at about 1%. So keep all of this in mind. I think we're hundreds of percent sold short. And, if we do get a commitment to not dilute shareholders, maybe until the second half of 2024, well, I think that's going to, put a lot of pressure on the shorts pretty dang quickly. So let me know what you guys think about all of this information down below in the comment section. Do you think this is a catalyst that is coming? If that does happen, where do you think AMC stock could go? Personally, I think AMC stock, if we do get this catalyst, this announcement, could probably rally back into the 20s. We'll see. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. That's only my opinion. That's speculation, purely speculation. But let me know where you think AMC stock could go. Maybe the 200-day moving average at $27 per share. That could make some sense to me as well. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.